So time to get things underway for the final heat of round number 2 here on day 3. It's mini heat 3, groups A versus B. Starting on pole position will be Milan Beccu, and alongside will be Julien van der Cotelet. Louis Boots and Dan Van Dam round out row 2. Denver Boz and Milo Cornel round out the top 3 rows. Norway's Marcus Engen-Asen and Edouard Berger round out row number 4. Sem Sazlik and Theo Handax round out the top 10. Louis Petronot and Métis Piessens round out row number 6. Tom Dames and Manuel Laurent round out the top 7 rows. Luclé, Joshua Lorison, Toby Terhar, Artem Kikireshko, Victorio Fernandez, Ron Boema, Thiago Holbeek, Van Konings, Luca Pereira, Jacques Depré, Martin Rodriguez, Tim Fellman, Amin Pantoli and François Collignon round out the 28-strong grid. Drivers go onto the formation lap ahead of 9 minutes plus an additional lap of racing. And after this, we will then go into the finals for day 3. Milan Beccu was the winner for heat number 1. Georges Desmais has already done both heats and has won the first one and is third in the second. If Beccu places second or higher, Beccu will be on pole for the final and will have the maximum score of 80 points added to the tally that the 899 from Belgium with Uitman's Grand Prix has already gathered so far after the opening round at Marienburg. So quite a few stragglers at the back end of the field as we are set to go lights out and racing. The final qualifying heat of this round of the championship, as after today has concluded, we'll be a third of the way through the season, and then we will head to the home of champions for the first of 2 rounds there within 3 weeks of each other during the heat of summer. So revs up, lights on, lights out, c'est parti. Let's go racing in the final qualifying heat. Milan Beccu has the initial advantage. Julien van der Cotelet loses out to Louis Boots, who got a flying start there. Denver Boz looks to be up into P4 at the moment as they head their way in towards turn 3. Marcus Engen-Asen, the Norwegian, trying to find his way through. Oh, one's gone off big time and rejoins. And tumbles right to the back of the order. Another one off. I think that's Toby Terhar that has gone off the circuit. Oh, 2 within a matter of the same amount of corners. But just ended up mowing the grass, let's say. At the top 4, starting to broke away quite a bit here. So, Beccu, Beccu, Boots, van der Cotelet and Boz. That is your top 4 at the moment, I believe. And so, coming through out of the final corner to complete the opening lap, it is going to be Uitman's Grand Prix's very own Milan Beccu. Louis Boots, fastest lap of the race. Julien van der Cotelet, P3. Denver Voss, 4. Marcus Engen-Asen rounds out the top 5 ahead of Milo Cornel. The top 3 have started to break away a little bit from Denver Boz, who's just holding back a little bit, I would say. Marcus Engen-Asen is going to lose out to Milo Cornel and Tom Dames at the moment. And a couple of drivers have made up some places. Tim Feldman from Germany has moved up from 26, now runs 19th ahead of Martin Rodriguez from Portugal. Places gained by Artem Kikireshko from the Ukraine. Ron Boema, Luterio Fernandez up from 19th and has rocketed to 11th, so 1 spot outside of the top 10. Denver Boz, whilst the top 3 are squabbling away and their line is stern, they're not really playing all the cards on the table at the moment. Denver Boz just keeping them within sight. Sometimes that's the better tactic to have, because if 2 of them start battling or 3 of them start battling at the same time, he's got every impetus and every motivation in the world to try and catch them up and try and get past each and every one of them one at a time. Not to try and go for glory and try and get all 3 at once, because that is a nigh on impossibility around this circuit here at Ostricourt. You can get 2 for the price of 1 going through the inside of turn number 3, but if you pull that loop off, you're going to be very, very lucky indeed. But Milan Beku just controlling proceedings. He knows he has to finish first or second, and that will be good enough for him to take a maximum score of 80 points. Top 3 are just sticking with each other, which is a good thing in some respects. Then you've got the 3 behind Denver Boz, which is Cornil, Dames and Paternot. Sem Sazlik has unfortunately retired on lap 2. So the 8:49, who started in 9th position, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow. That could be, well, Sem Sazlik finished P5, as now he goes the 8:47 of Tom Dames, I think, has just made the move. For the racing team Claude Ball. He's running on the CRG, so he looks to be at the back end of this trio. In the middle of it, that is Louis Paternot on the Paralin. But still the top 3 as they were, business as usual. Fast approaching the halfway point of this race, and there is a move. Cornil passed by Paternot, and Cornil gets through. Oh, Paternot sideways, and bounding off the circuit goes Tom Dames and gets back through. And Paternot, I think, just came when a little bit squirrely coming out of the final corner. These young drivers do put themselves under a lot of pressure, and it's not necessarily the atmosphere and the team around them and the mechanic and the parents and everything, but sometimes it can come down to the driver that will really put themselves under a significant amount of pressure to perform. And these drivers are all looking at high-level racing as a future career as a works driver. Moment there for, I think it was Dan Van Dam in the 8:20. So went a little bit wide coming out of turn number 5 and bounded over the grass and the dust. But still the top 3, well, they've started to really drop away from Denver Boz. The gap last time around was 1.2 seconds between Julian van der Cotelet and the Flying Dutchman, Denver Boz, in the 887 for WJS Racing. However, there's still 3.5 minutes to go, plus that all-important additional lap. So Beku, Boots, van der Cotelet, Boz, Cornil. The Asens now up into 6th place from 12th on the grid. Marcus Engenassen from Norway rounds out the top 7 ahead of Tom Dames, Louis Paternot. And Dan Van Dam now drops into 10th position ahead of Manuel Laurent, Joshua Lorison. And there's a little bit of there's a little bit of a possible battle. Manuel Laurent and Joshua Lorison. Oh no, that is not what you want to do coming out of turn 4. And that was, I think, 837 and 847. Yeah, Dames and Paternot, I think, came together. And it was the CRG that's front axle was completely skywards. I can understand the frustration by one of the drivers, but, well, that is not exactly what really Tom Dames won. Well, it wasn't what Louis Paternot had in mind on the Paralin. And Marshall's just checking the driver at the moment, so there will be local yellow flags out. That is at turn 4 and 5. So yellow flags being waved at Marshall post number 3. But still the battle carries on at the top 3. This has been rather closely contested. Lewis Boots looking to the outside, cannot overtake. And we've got a full course slow procedure for the second time today. So because one of the drivers is being attended to by the trackside marshalling team, a full course slow has been engaged under the direction of Series Race Director Dave Ritson. So all the yellow flags will be waving. We could possibly finish this under the full course slow procedure, effectively like a virtual safety car, full course yellow. So Milan Beku is basically going to have to slow the field down. And there you see from the aerial shot via the drone up above. And the time is just going to simply tick away. It's the right call to make, and it was the only call to make at that point. In some respects, you can understand that Milan Beku is going to be quite pleased that that situation. Well, I mean, not pleased about the fact that there is, there's a driver that could be that is going to be requiring attention, but it means that he's not under pressure from the two behind, because if Boots and Van der Kottelet had gotten through, then that would have put Milan Beku on the front row, but not necessarily on pole position, just by what we've seen over the course of today. But we are going to time out. It is going to be It is going to be concluded. I would think. So last lap will be around this time. So we've had one race neutralised for the majority of the main body of it, and now we're going to have a race that's pretty much, I think, going to be ended after. Ended under full course slow procedure here in heat 3. So last lap board is going to be shown. We are still going to be under full course slow procedure. They cannot accelerate, they cannot overtake. As I said, in the previous heat where we had the KA 100s in our first heat, 7 drivers were penalised, a total of 35 seconds given out, and 10 of which went to one driver who made the infraction twice. So Milan Beku is just going to casually lead the field around the circuit on what will be the 9th and final lap at this moment in time. A slow-paced ending to this 3rd and final heat, but obviously, as I said earlier, safety is the main priority when it comes to our competitors here at EM Series Benelux. Because it was on a very precarious area when the yellow flag started waving at Marshall Post 3, and then the decision to instigate the full course slow procedure, as I said, was the right decision, right place, right time, because of the situation. So it is going to be out of the final corner under full course slow procedure. Milan Beku will take the win on the road here in heat 3. Checkered flag waves. Beku takes the victory. Lewis Boots rounds out P2. Julian van der Kottelet, Denver Bos, Milo Corneel, Matthijs Piesens, Marcus Engenassen, Dan van Dam, Manuel Laurent and Joshua Lawrenson round out your top 10. Theo Handax, Lutelio Fernandez, Artem Kikireshko, Luc Clay, Jacques Depré, Martin Rodriguez, Tim Feldman, Bram Konings, François Collignon, Toby Terhar, Thiago Hollebeek, Ron Burma, Amin Pantoli, Luca Pereira and Edouard Berger round out the 25 finishes in that race. Unfortunately, the contact between Tom Dames mounting the back of Louis Patinot and the 847's front axle being skyward for a multitude of seconds meant that they would retire on lap number 6 through turns 4 and 5. Sam Saslik, however, would not make it to the end of lap 2 and would retire down in 28th. But Milan Beku provisionally will lead the field into battle for one final time for the mini-final later on today from pole position.